Hi everyone. I told Mom I would make a little sample video for you so you'll know how to use the things that I left for you. The first thing I left for you is gesso. It's under a different brand name, but this is the one I have at home. Now, the other thing is going to be acrylic paints in various colors. And then you're going to have various little things that you can use, including you're going to want a broad paintbrush for some things, and then you might want a little bit smaller paintbrush for other things. Okay, so varying sizes of paintbrushes. I would suggest that for the gesso, and when you're doing the first part, that you use the brown or the tan paintbrushes that I got that and left that are they're inexpensive and they're disposable in case they get dried. Once this is dried, it's permanent, so you do need to keep that in mind. Acrylic colors are also permanent. Do not get them on your clothing. You will want to wear an apron and cover your surface that you're going to be working on if you do not want anything to get on that surface. Then we're going to have some other things like supplies that we can use. Like I have a couple of little silk flowers here we're going to use. I use, an egg carton to put my paints and things in. Those work out really well. I have a doily. You'll see what we're going to use that for. I have some little stirring sticks. I think I got these in the craft department of Walmart or something. They're just something that I had on hand. Okay. And then I just have a couple little fabric things. I was going to show you how to do that and how to use a little picture or cardboard. Some beans. You could also get bird seed. I have cheesecloth and some cotton. Okay. And most of all, like Mom has, we have eggshells. Okay. So we have the crushed eggshells. We're going to be using all of these things for different things. All I'm going to do for you today is I'm going to show you some different ways that you can use textures. The idea is to give whatever it is, the picture that you want to paint or the design that you want to come up with, you want it to have texture. So, I also brought in some lacy stuff. It's tulle. They call it tulle. You can get that in the fabric department. All right, we have water. I have some little palette pushers, so they work out really well. You can order these online. You can also just use an old knife that you're willing to get rid of, like a plastic knife or something. All you want to do is you want to be able to move your paint around if you need to. All right. Coffee for me. We're going to use paper towels. So just so you have an idea of the things that we're going to be using. So the first thing we're going to start out doing is you need to shake this gesso really well, because we're going to use it for glue. It's going to, because your palettes are already primed, they already have a layer of gesso on them. We're now going to use gesso like a glue. So now you just want to put some on there. Okay. And of course, I didn't cover my surface and I've already gotten it all over everything. So, I just don't want it to dry on there. All right. Now, you can use one of the paintbrushes that I left with you, like this, okay, and just press and push all over, okay? We want to just push and press, all right, on your surface, anywhere you want it, okay? And you can leave the gesso on your brush because you're going to use it, okay? Now, in this case, I'm doing mine this way. You could also do it this way, okay? And I am just sort of doing like this, just doing varying little things like this. I'm going to do sort of a sand at the beach kind of look, okay? So I'm going to set that there. Remember, if it gets on anything, it's going to stay. So I'm going to do some of your eggshells. And I'm just going to put it here so it looks kind of like sand and beach and maybe seashells. Maybe it looks like seashells in varying places. All right. And now I'm going to take that same brush and I'm just going to push it. Just kind of push it around so it gets sort of stuck. You want it to be stuck. Okay. You want it to have that sort of stuck texture. You can put more in one place or less. You can put it all in one spot. Okay. Really should have put something on this table. Okay. When this dries, it will have a lot of dimension and texture to it. So when you decide to paint, it'll give it lots of texture. Okay. All right. Now, I'm going to use, let's say we wanted our beach to have a little, a few little like rocks, maybe bigger shells. Okay. If you don't like getting stuff on your hands, you could wear some plastic gloves. Doesn't really bother me much. Okay, and we're going to take this again, and where you still have paint up here, because if it's thick, you have extra. And you're just going to tap it on your rocks that you've made. Now, you don't have to cover them. As long as you have a clean paintbrush that you could have just tapped them so they stick. Okay, so let's do a few of those. All right, so I'm going to do a few like this. Okay, I'm going to take a clean paintbrush and I'm going to just push on them so they get stuck. Okay, that way you now have a little there, but they still have a little bit of color that you can go over with a different style of paint or color. Okay, now in my scenario here that I'm going to do, I'm also going to have a little beach fence. So I'm going to use cheesecloth for that. I'm going to use a little cheesecloth to make sort of a beach fence. And I'm just going to put it right here. Like this is the beach. And I'm going to use my fingers. I'm going to push it down. You can use this brush and push it down if you want. And then I thought I had some scissors. You would normally you could cut it before. Okay. And you're just going to use this, and this is you're just adding your little beach fence here. Just press it down some. You just want it so it'll stick. Okay, the whole idea is to get it to stick. It's kind of like glue. Now I'm going to use my little sticks to make beach fence post. Okay, so I think I want them to be about that long. So I'm just going to take one, and I'm going to, just kind of stick it there. Stick it kind of like this, like the beach fence is sort of falling down maybe a little bit. Now, again, I've got lots of gesso up here, so I can use that to get it to stay down. And it makes my my fence post. See how our picture is coming together. Okay. Now, I've decided that I want to add a little sunshine. So for my sunshine, okay, I'm going to use this doily, okay, and I'm going to put it over here, and I'm going to press it down. Now I'm going to take some of this paint, or the gesso, and I'm going to go over it. Wherever I want it to show up. Okay, now watch carefully. You now have a pretty little picture. Okay, so you kind of have some texture and depth right there. You can add a little bit more if you want. Get a little bit more. And now when you come back with your paint, you have this sunlight here that you've added. Okay, and you've added a little bit of texture, and you'll see how that'll come together later. Okay, I guess I could use a piece of this, huh? All right, I'm going to use freezer paper to set my painted things on. All right, now sometimes in the water we'll find little creatures and whatnot, but also if you were doing like sunshine, or maybe you're doing a garden, or you want a little house with some flowers in the front, you could also use these. You can pull them apart. Okay, you can use them for texture, so you can just dab them down into what you're doing. Okay, like that. Or you could also leave them blue and leave them sticking up, or you can take them and you can take them apart, which is what I'm going to do. And you can pull them apart and use them and make your own little sea creatures. So I have, in my case, I'm doing little sea creatures. Okay. So I'm going to use these to just make some, you know, just like little things to go in the water. Okay. You might put some, all right. Now that I've done that, I'm going to go back, and again, I'm going to use this gesso. The other thing that you could use instead of gesso, I mean, gesso is important for doing the pasting, but you can buy modeling paste. But since I didn't leave any of that, I'm not going to show you how to use that. You would use it in the same manner. Now, I'm going to take these, and I'm just going to use my finger and hold them down and just sort of glue them. But they're going to give me lots of texture, because I'm just going to glue them enough that they stay on the board. Okay? All right. Now, let's begin to be a little bit more creative. Okay? So now I've decided, if you recall, we're going to have some surface here, and, well, actually, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait until this dries. So now, once you get it to this point, okay, and you have these things, and actually, you know, you could dry at different spots. You don't have to wait until, you could stop at the very beginning to let it dry, okay. I'm going to let this dry all the way, and then once it's dry, I'm going to come back and show you how to add color. So, for the time being, we're done.